Got it, Luke.
Dina, you like us so much you joined twice.
Good morning, Brain.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
I have to move midstream, so I figured I'd just get on now because I have my hands full.
Anybody have a favorite Dina?
It's your God Call with Reverend Bill.
What would you do if you knew you had a 100% guarantee of success? If you knew without doubt or hesitation that you couldn't possibly fail? Think about that for a moment. And then think about who invented the light bulb. You know who it was. It was Thomas Edison. But you don't think about the fact that it took 10,000 tries to get it right. When somebody asked Edison about the failures, he said, "Oh, that's not true. I just know 9,999 ways not to make a light bulb." Success for you too could be at hand.
Hello everybody, it's so good to see you here. Let's gather around the love, let it transform our fear. Let's play and pray together, hold that space for bigger love. Anchor deep, reach high and breathe. So it is. And so it is. Gonna sing it one more time. Hello everybody, it's so good to see you here. Let's gather around the love, let it transform our fear. Let's pray and play together, hold that space for bigger love. Anchor deep, reach high and breathe. And so it is.
Thank you, Jim, and good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. I was just typing a chat to Dina to disconnect one of her devices because it's using up more of our bandwidth. So, you know, one of those internet things. So welcome to, first of all, Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, New Thought Philadelphia. It is wonderful to see you. We'll be talking a little bit more about that as well. And springtime, and puppies, and flowers, and pancakes, and brunches, etc. So if you would, you know the rules for doing this on Zoom. You just keep yourself muted all the time, except when we're sharing, or the rare occasion when we're going to talk together, because otherwise it causes a cacophony. But this is one of those times. Go ahead and unmute your microphone and repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to
To
love.
love.
I open myself to joy.
I
Open myself to joy.
I open myself to fun.
I
Open myself to fun.
I am peace.
I am peace.
And I let myself be aware of the good surrounding me.
And
Let myself be aware of the
aware of the good
surrounding me.
surrounding me.
And so it is.
So it is.
It is.
Okay, now make sure your mute button still works. Get that microphone muted again. I'm Reverend Bill Marcioni. Our music today is the illustrious Jim Wade, who I'm thinking I've known since the 1990s. He's going to be in the talk a little later on as well. And the MC for our celebration and our practitioner of the day is Breen Rourke, RSCP.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day. New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers. We welcome each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever path you've been on, wherever you're headed next, whatever brought you into our Zoom today, we've been waiting for you, and welcome. Now, we believe there is one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we each use that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. Or as we like to say, our new life begins with a new thought. Take a moment, if you could, and turn off any devices you're not using to Zoom in today, or put them on mute so they don't go off in the middle of the celebration and disturb you. And we're going to begin the celebration like we begin everything, with prayer. So I invite you to just settle into where you are and become aware of that one, power, love, intelligence, or force. It is the singular creative force back of everything. All of creation, known and unknown to us, is an expression of that one. It's spirit, it's God, it's the unlimited field of potentiality, it's cosmic energy, whatever you choose to call it. It is that has always been and will always be. We are all unique, beautiful, wonderful expressions of that one. Individual lights shining brightly together to illuminate our spiritual journey. So I know this celebration is an expression of that love, that light, that creative energy, the words, the music, the ideas, the fellowship, the technology that brings us together. The community of New Thought Philadelphia is God in action, and I am so grateful for it. I'm grateful for each person here, for everyone watching on YouTube or watching this later, next year, next month, next decade, because it's all God in action. So with love and gratitude, I release this word into the law, the creative law of spirit that always says yes. And once again, it says yes. And so it is. I get lost sometimes in there. So prayer works. That's why we do it. So now's the time I'd like to open up to the community to share how prayer is working in your life. I've got my gallery view on so I can see everybody, or you can click your electronic to raise your hand. So we'd love to hear stories of prayer working in your lives. So who's up first with a prayer work story? I saw a hand. Patrick.
Yes, I had done my had my U.S. taxes done recently. As you know, I'm in Portugal, and so not only do I have Portuguese taxes, but I have to do the U.S. taxes. And so I had cashed the Roth IRA to pay for my apartment, but for some reason, the financial institution did not count it as a rollover. So long story short, my tax bill came and I was supposed to owe $3,897. So after I recovered from my temporary coronary, I did some research and I contacted a practitioner as well to kind of figure out what the problem was. And so with the practitioner's help and a little research on my part, I was able to find out that the financial institution did not record it as a rollover. I got the proof that it was a rollover. And now, instead of owing $3,897, I am owed back. They owes me $293. So that was like about a $4,100 difference. So that was a big deal. So thank you for letting me share it.
Awesome. Thank you. Beautiful. Who else? Prayer work. So I've got one. Yesterday, for the first time in over a year, I got to hug my granddaughters. So I'm 2 weeks post second vaccine for Jane and myself. Drove over to Cinnaminson, New Jersey, and spent the afternoon. And they greeted us running out of the house and just getting a triplet hug. There's nothing quite like that. If you've never experienced it, I'll see if I can arrange that for you. But it's pretty awesome. Yay. Okay. Anybody else? Looking around. All right. Sandy's got announcements.
Good morning. This nourishing Mother's Day information can be found on our website at newthoughtphilly.org and in our weekly e-newsletter. Please sign up for it on the website. Twice a day, we have a community check-in and meditation on Zoom. They're inspiring and fun and are less than 15 minutes. Everyone is welcome. The Unexpected Income Club is running now through July 4th. Join for a fun way to prove prosperity principles. You'll do a daily prosperity prayer. When unexpected income shows up, you'll donate 10% to New Thought Philly. Sign up online and be ready for your financial Independence Day. We'd love to have you follow New Thought Philly on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and join the Philly Spiritual Adventurers group on meetup.com. The Power of 8 Intention Circle meets Mondays at 7 p.m. You can contact me for information. I put my contact information in the chat. The Regional Men's Group meets the third Monday every month at 7 p.m. The Women's Group meets the fourth Thursday at 7 p.m. The Teen Group will meet on June 13th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. You heard a God call at the beginning of the celebration. You can subscribe to get God calls on your phone, interrupting you at random 4 times a week with a reminder that you are a bright light of God's love. Thank you to the production team and presenters who make our Zoom celebration work. There's a short technical rehearsal on Saturday afternoon and a final check-in before the celebration on Sunday. To join the team, contact Carla Ann, who put her contact information in the chat. We're starting to look for a new location to meet in person when it's safe to do so. If you have an idea for a Sunday location, contact Breen or Reverend Bill. Next Sunday is What Are You Expecting? With Reverend Bill talking about a law that responds to our intentions to bring new experiences into our lives. He'll probably mention Thomas Midgley Jr.'s birthday. Live, original music by Alyssa Garcia. The practitioners are available by appointment for a professional prayer. After the celebration, Breen will be available for Miracle in a Minute prayer at no charge. We'll leave the Zoom meeting open for people to talk among ourselves after the celebration.
Thank you, Sandy. So we have a special blessing. And when we're meeting in person, also a welcome packet for our first-time visitors. I think Dimitri is here for the first time. If anybody else is here for the first time, you can identify yourself either by waving your hand or raising your digital hand on the Zoom. And I invite those of you who have not already signed up for the e-newsletter. That's kind of the biggest way that we keep in touch with people. Everything goes out weekly, and we keep it as short as possible because we respect your time. But let us welcome the people who are here for the first time, or the people who are back for the first time. I'm not going to call out Ola necessarily by name, but everybody, sorry. For the rest of us, we're going to rub our hands together and generate some more. You people who are accepting and receiving, just accept this. Send that love out. You are the bright light of God's love. Thank you for shining that light and sharing that love with us today. And welcome home. So as we do the next song, just look around the gallery view and make eye contact with the people we're in community with, because each of those little squares on your Zoom is a bright light of God's love or two. Jim?
We are one with the one. What do you think about that? We are one with the one. Let's meditate on that. Take a moment to reflect. We're all looking to connect. We are one with the one. Let's meditate on that. And so it is. So it is. We are one with the one, and so it is. Hello again, do you remember me? I've been waiting for you rather patiently. I know you felt all alone, but enough of that. It's time to come home. Are you a one with the one? What do you think about that? so it is. Oh, so it is. We are one with the one, so it is.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Man, boom, there it is, done. Dina and the new member of the family, Oliver, will be leading us in the flames of faith this morning.
Good morning, everyone. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. The reading today is from Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth, and which is the book that we're using in our class currently, and it's going to be brought to us by Carla Ann.
Good morning, everyone. The study of what we call the new insight and truth is for many persons an extremely intriguing experience, but it really does not begin to make much sense or to enable you to make changes in your life until you accept the law of consciousness. It may be that one of the great moments in the long evolution of man on planet Earth was when some primitive Aleut first got an inkling that he could be free, that he could have some control over his destiny. It didn't mean, nor did he think it did, that he could control the elements or the giant beasts which roamed the world. However, it did mean that he could take charge of his own life and do certain things of his own volition, which would determine the influence of outer conditions and creatures upon his life. It was one of the great moments in human history. And it is an important moment in your life when you discover for yourself the great truth that things may happen around you and things may happen to you. But the only things which really count are the things that happen in you. You may have precious little control of the elements or the fluctuation of the stock market or the unpredictable behavior of people. However, you live in a world of your consciousness, which is the sum total of the thoughts of your mind, and you can control what goes on in your mind. This is not to say that it is easy, but to establish that it is possible. There is a great idea that you will encounter again and again on your quest, You are a living magnet, constantly drawing to you the things, the people, the circumstances which are in accord with your thoughts. In other words, you are where you are in experience, in relationships, even in financial conditions, because of what you are, which is where you are in consciousness. Now, this is not an easy teaching. You may want to reject it and put the book aside. In the Bible, when Jesus began to lay out the hard laws of this teaching, it says, many of his disciples drew back and no longer went about with him. That's John 6:66. And thus you have always been. However, if you are willing to accept full responsibility for your life, then even as your level of thought has put you where you are, or at least contributed to it, so by a change of consciousness, you can change the experience of your life. And so it is.
I sit in prayer, seeking some direction. How do I find balance in my life? I sit in prayer, looking for some answers. How do I find peace among the strife? Choose love, and you'll never be alone. Choose love, touch the truth, always know. Choose love, and there'll be no room for fear. Choose love, and know that God is everywhere. I walk through my days, my mind full of questions, feeling overwhelmed. I need to simplify. Well, I run through my life, plagued with indecision. How do I find God and the strength to try? Choose love and you'll never be alone. Choose love, touch the truth you've always known. Choose love, and there'll be no room for fear. Got to choose love and know that God is everywhere. I reach for my faith that needs no proof. I quiet my mind, asking what can I do? Choose love. Choose love. Choose love, and there'll be no room for fear. Got to choose love, God is everywhere. Got to choose love, God is everywhere.
Beautiful, Jim. Thank you so much. And that song was by request. I don't actually make requests of the musicians these days. What I do is I name the talk one of their songs, and they pick up on that and put it in. So thank you, and it's a wonderful tee off for me. Choose love. That's what we're talking about today. Choose love, and it's Mother's Day, so there's all of that nurturing mother. Connect and love thing on one end, and then at the other end of the spectrum is the Hallmark holiday, where it's completely manufactured and it's to sell confections and cards. And in the middle, as Sandy brought up in our dress rehearsal this morning, sometimes mother is just the first half of a word. And and what we're talking about when we choose love is that we're always a choice. We are always a choice. This whole New Thought teaching is based on the notion that in the beginning there was nothing. There was nothing but that one infinite creative power and presence. And it shared its energy and its substance and its intelligence and its essence as everything that exists. And that creative activity, that sharing of self, is love. That's what love is. That sharing of self is love. So the entire universe, everything that exists everywhere, every one of us, every place, every moment, is that infinite love taking its own specific form. So that's what we are. We are love unfolding. And we're individualized expressions of it. We're personalized. We're not all the same. We are not certainly uniform. We're not doing the same thing all the time. So we're each free to create our experience according to whatever it is that's that we're yearning for inside of ourselves. Which is why we get to choose love, because sometimes it looks like love and sometimes it looks like something else. And the interesting thing is that when there's something that doesn't look like love, maybe it's something we're just having a fun time with. Maybe it's we see ourselves as misbehaving and we're going to do something that's not loving. And sometimes it's things that are a real challenge for us. In which case, that experience of being challenged or having a difficulty or a problem is the reminder that we can choose love instead. And I talk about the process all the time. And it's a really simple process. It's not necessarily easy to do. It's especially not easy to do when we're in the middle of a circumstance. And what it is basically is if we are looking over here and we're seeing darkness and shadow and difficulty and challenge or whatever that negativity is, if there's something that we're afraid of and something we're fearful about, it doesn't mean that there's not love. It just means that there's something obstructing it or blocking it or keeping it from view. If we're seeing shadows in front of us, it's a reminder that the light is over our shoulder. So what we want to be able to do is pivot and turn towards that light, towards the love, and invite that into our lives in whatever way the experience is going to show up. So we are free to choose love all the time. And to remember that the circumstances that we're in are not controlling our experience. They are informing us of what our experience is, so we can make a choice. So we can choose whatever is going to work for us. And the question always comes up, well, why wouldn't people just choose love all the time? Why wouldn't life just be a continuous unfoldment of Garden of Eden level delirium and delight? Well, for those of you who have your video on, show of hands, anybody ever gone to an amusement park and gone into the fun house or on a roller coaster? Yeah, it's exhilarating or scary or terrifying or getting our adrenaline going or whatever it is. So why would we do that? Why would we go to a horror movie? Why would we go to a sporting event where our team could lose? And the reason is because that's the game we're playing. We are immersed in this game of life where we get to have the texture and the tone and the flavor and the experience because we get to go on a scary roller coaster and have the exhilaration and then get off the roller coaster. Or maybe get on it again. We get to have that experience, but we're always at choice. In all of the things that we do, we're at choice. And it's easy to describe that as, in terms of a roller coaster. There's a book called The Invitation. And this is based on a poem that was written by Araya Mountain Dreamer. And she actually wrote an entire book about this. And the invitation is that Araya, who is a Lakota medicine woman, wants to invite people more fully and deeply into their authentic self. And she tells the story about how one morning she was in a really deep and profound meditation, and she felt her connection with the oneness of all of creation. And then she says, rising from my cushion, I move unhurriedly towards my day. As I step into the bathroom, I catch a glimpse of the quiet half smile on my face, dissolving into a grimace of disgust as cold water soaks through my clean white socks. All semblance of graceful ease shatters in the shrill cry of a banshee as I survey the aftermath of my teenage son's showers. Pools of water on the tile floor, several wet towels, and a heap in the corner. Others twisted onto towel racks in configurations that could not possibly dry before the end of the millennium. The shower curtain half in, half out of the tub, bunched and folded to maximize the growth of mildew and mold. This is the medicine one. This is the shaman, the peaceful one. Illustrating to us that not every experience is one of love, and not even the most evolved of us is going to be in the groove all the time. The banshee, the shrill banshee wail. I could, you step up from doing Om and then get into that. But she's the mother of teenage boys. And when we get to Mother's Day and we're celebrating mothers and Mother's Day and honoring all of what's gone on for that nurturing essence, that divine feminine, that's the birther. It's wonderful. So if you are a mother, go ahead and raise your hand, either in the screen or on by clicking the little button. Yeah, thank you. If you had a mother or have a mother, raise your hand. Okay. Yeah, I see a bigger group there. If you have ever given birth to something fabulous, a great idea, a new endeavor, or something else, again, raise your hand. Yeah. And we have all had the experience of nurturing something into being, of taking something that's delicate and small and fragile and giving it the nourishment and the space and the time and the love and the support to allow it to flourish. So my experience as a father, and it's a different aspect of the same thing. I describe sometimes training my daughter, teaching my daughter to ride a two-wheeler. And there's that momentous day when you take the training wheels off, and she's riding a bike for the first time. And it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit terrifying. She's excited and enthusiastic about the possibilities there are to be. And that's one of those situations where the experience for the parent, the nurturer, the caregiver, the protector is completely different than the experience of the one being cared for. Because there's my daughter pedaling and feeling what it's like to be riding on a two-wheeler, and there's dad running behind her, hands at her shoulders, trying to keep up to make sure that something horrible doesn't happen. Completely different experiences. And when we look at parenting that way, when we look at our relationship with the infinite that way, can we imagine that infinite loving power and presence that we call God or spirit or nature, the source of everything, running behind us, hoping that something bad doesn't happen? Well, maybe. But the one thing we know for sure is that it's not going to stop and grab us and keep us from riding the bike. Even if it means that we're going to learn what road rash is about imminently. We're able to choose. And if we have an experience where maybe it's a little too early to take the training wheels off, we can choose if we want to have what's the experience I want to have. Because we could all play it safe. That's another Jim Wade song about the ships are safe in the harbor, but they're not built to be in the harbor. So we're not built to play it safe. We're built to grow and to evolve and unfold. And I also want to give a shout out to our nature of our relationships with mom, because some of us have an absolutely awesome mom. The textbook mommy who just was there for everything and sweet and loving with the apron and making snacks for our friends. And if you're awesome because of your mom, congratulations. And not all of them came from that particular script. If you are awesome in spite of your mom, that's cool too. Because as we've noticed, there's not a handbook and the moms being part of the process are fallible and make some mistakes. And hopefully we learn along the way about what it is we want to do. So we're talking about choosing love. And in psychology, there's stimulus response. So something happens and then we respond to that. And have you noticed that some people tend to be angry? When a stimulus comes along, their first thing to think of is, what can I be angry about? And there are some people who can be defensive or combative, where the stimulus comes along and what they want to do is deflect and say, that's not me. There are some people who are peaceful. They are perfectly okay with whatever it is that's going on. They're just sitting there like they're on the purple pillow going, and not letting it bother them. And other people are loving. And you get that feeling that regardless of what's going on, there is that essence of love, and it's got some acceptance in it. It's free of a lot of the harshness of the anger and the defensiveness. And sometimes it's just easier to deal with people who are in that. And the reason I bring up them, those people who are angry or peaceful or loving, is because there is no they. There's one power and presence that shares itself as all of its creation. So whatever it is that you are they. And you are free to choose which aspect of that lovingness, that presence, that response to stimulus you want to have. That's what we mean by choose love. You can, all the time, whatever it is that you want to. I'll read a little more from Orion Mountain Dreamer. She says, later, after cleaning up, my younger son, Nathan, speaks to me as I sit in the kitchen with a cup of hot tea. I know we shouldn't leave the bathroom such a mess, Mom, he says cautiously, trying to sound reasonable. But I think leaving wet towels on the floor is probably pretty normal behavior for teenage boys. Not that we should do it. He adds, or at least I pierce him with a look over the rim of my cup. But if it's the worst thing we do, you really don't have too much to worry about, do you? I can't help but laugh. He is right, of course. Yeah, we can get all wrapped around the axle. We can get completely involved and immersed in what we see as the problem or the challenge or the difficulty, or we can choose love. The opening song today is called Invocation, and it's a Jim Wade song that I had not heard before. And this, to me, is a perfect example of choosing love. Because Jim was taking a class, and everybody in the class got to take a turn at doing an invocation, which is our opening prayer, and a benediction, which is our closing prayer. And Jim didn't want to. Jim just did not want to do that at all in any way. And so here's the situation. Okay, the stimulus is, you're in a class, you're committed to being in the class, everybody in the class is going to do a meditation or an invocation, benediction, and Jim doesn't want to. So he could be defensive. Well, I don't do that. Or he could get angry, or he could duck it, or he could be peaceful. And when he gets called on to say, well, you know what, I'm just not the kind of guy who's going to do that. And what he did was get creative. He wrote a song called Invocation. And he wrote another song called Benediction, which we're going to hear at the close of the program today. So that he doesn't have to do an invocation or a benediction. If somebody says, do that, he's got a song in his pocket, because singing he can do. Choose love. Choose love. There's always the possibility. There is only love. There is always love. Everything is love. And when it doesn't look like love, there's something blocking it. And oh, by the way, what's blocking it at the heart and core? It's fear. It's always, when something doesn't feel loving, there's fear involved somewhere. And again, that's the indicator. That's our speedometer, our tachometer, our warning light. That if we have something in front of us that doesn't look like love, that is an invitation for us to look at it in a different way, to find something different that's going on with it. In the Eric Butterworth book, he quoted scripture a little bit, and And some people have noted that when we quote either New Testament or Old Testament, or the Bhagavad Gita or something, it can be off-putting to people because it implies that we are going along with the scripture. And I'm prefacing this by saying that what I'm going to say about John 3:16 is not what the people who usually quote John 3:16 mean about it. That's the verse where it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son." And Christianity uses that to say Jesus was better than you. And I personally don't believe that. I believe that in the universe of oneness, that the guy who came saying, "All this I do, you can do, and more," was implying that we all had something going on. So when you break it down, just take the beginning. For God so loved. For God so loved. God loved. And that's the sharing that turned into everything that exists everywhere. For God so loved the world that he gave. To be giving, to choose love, to open ourselves in love and offer ourselves up, to allow more of that goodness, to allow more of that love to flow into the world and into our lives. Choose love. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten. The only thing that exists, the oneness, is all that was shared by God. There is God and everything. We are all one. I think the word son just got tacked on to the end of that because it seemed to make sense. For God so loved the world that he gave us this oneness that we are all part of, and gave us all the creative power and all the access to the intelligence and the guidance and the wisdom and the goodness, all of the resource that's required to choose love and to live in ways that are uplifting and wonderful and spectacular for each of us and for all of us. And one more paragraph from Araya Mountain Dreamland. She says, "This is the reality we live, aspiring to be at our best, longing for and sometimes finding meaning and connection within ourselves and with that which is larger than ourselves. We are undone by messy bathrooms, traffic jams, and burnt toast. I am not interested in a spirituality that cannot encompass my humanness. I find little comfort or guidance in traditional dogma or unqualified New Age optimism, because beneath the small daily trials are harder paradoxes, things the mind cannot reconcile, but the heart must hold if we are to live fully. Profound tiredness and radical hope, shattered beliefs and relentless faith, the seemingly contradictory longings for personal freedom and a deep commitment to others, for solitude and intimacy, for the ability to simply be with the world and the need to change what we know is not right about how we're living." Our Power of Eight group that meets on Monday nights is in 8-week cycles, and the group is, I think, deciding that our next 8-week cycle, instead of about and creating something in the personal lives of each of us, is going to be a new aspect of a world that works for everyone. That's an expansion. It's the same creative process. It's the same laws that are creating everything, but we are able to use them to create whatever it is that we're choosing. So whatever it is that you're called to do on this Mother's Day, whatever it is that's nurturing you, whatever it is that's uplifting you, celebrate it. Open yourself up and let the love in. When there's messy towels on the floor or something that looks like a problem in front of you, turn away. Look towards the light. Choose love and find the way to invite more and more and more love into your life. Because the universe is going to say yes. God's got your back. God is running behind you, ready to hold on. As soon as you say, the training wheels thing has served its purpose, and now I'm ready to have an experience of peace, you might not wait until right before the crash, but God's got your back. There's an infinite creative power that is creating your life right here and now. You deserve all the good. Choose love, be love. I love you, and so it is.
Well, I was blessed with an awesome mom, and she passed away a few years ago. Her name is Eleanor Grace. She made me this crazy snakeskin vest I'm wearing right now, and I wrote this song for Mom. raised four wild boys, loved us all with equal passion. And while we really put her through it, she made it look easy. I was 20 and facing my fears. I told my mom that I was gay. She said, I love you, and nothing could ever change that. She made it look easy. Made it look easy. Made it look easy. Married for 70 years, unbelievable feat, and they still hold hands with a love both fierce and gentle, and they make it look easy. After 92 years, she had to leave her home, so fragile and afraid. Her body and mind were fading fast. This doesn't seem fair. This doesn't feel right. This isn't easy. This isn't easy. The other day my mom took my hand, her gaze full of sweet compassion. She said to me with eyes full of tears, I don't know your name, but I know that I love you. She made it look easy.
Thank you, Jen. Okay. We're gonna settle into a little meditation. We're gonna choose love. So Bill talked about pivoting and looking at the light and turning away from the shadow. So I think we've all got things in our life that don't feel like love. So just for a second, I want you to call to mind something in your life, whether it's a relationship, a situation, some challenge, something that doesn't feel like love. Just take a second and grab something. Don't think too hard about it. All right. And just file that away. Let's not dwell on that. Let's choose love. So I invite you to get settled wherever you are. If you can, if you're comfortable, sit up straight with your shoulders over your hips. It's a nice straight back to help you stay awake and alert while we deepen into this meditation. Close your eyes or allow them to go to soft focus. Just relax and be here in this now moment. I invite you to take a nice, deep, cleansing breath. And let it out with a big sigh. And just relax. One more deep breath and heavy sigh. Just feel yourself relax. Allow your breathing to find a gentle, even rhythm, whatever's comfortable for you. As we take a little journey inward. We're taught that everything is love. Even when it doesn't seem like it or feel like it. Everything is love. I invite you to choose love. Get that feeling in your heart center of what love means to you. Feel that warmth. Feel that embrace. And in whatever situation or person or challenge you may be facing, turn to the light and choose love. I choose love. Repeat that to yourself. I choose love. Let that be your mantra for this meditation. Find a rhythm with your breathing. And as we go into the silence, repeat to yourself, I choose love.
I choose love. On behalf of each one here, I choose love. And I know that unconditional love is that regardless of the stimulus, response is love. And love is always available because love is all there is. There is one creator, one source from which everything flows. All wisdom and intelligence, all power and energy, all substance and form. And it's all love. It is all love unfolded in so many rich, diverse, and different ways. Those expressions of love include me and each one of us. That love expresses and shares and reveals itself through all of our experiences, all of our activities, all of our relationships, our physical well-being, our experiences of abundance and prosperity, our creativity, and our loving engagements with the others around us, our beloved, our family, our friends, our neighbors, our community. That is all God's divine good, that infinite love unfolding. And so I choose on behalf of each one here to experience that even more richly, more fully, more deeply as love. I claim for each of us, I am love unfolding, I am choosing love. And that intention is set loose under the same creative law, that same creative process that has created everything. This is a new intention to more deeply, more fully, more sweetly, and more richly experience that divine essence. That's the truth, the center and circumference of what we are. To experience love even more fully. I choose love for each of us and for all of us. And I'm grateful for the wonderful ways that it's showing up. And I'm grateful for the wonderful stories that come back about the wonderful ways that it's showing up. And I'm grateful to be able to speak this word of intention and release it into that creative law that has been saying yes since the very beginning of time. The infinite set the intention to share itself, and that law said yes and allows that good to come into form that we're living now. And so this feeling of gratitude, I speak this word of intention, I release it to the law, and I know the law is already responding. I let it be, and so it is. Take another deep, full breath in. Let it go. Allow your awareness to come back into your body, wiggle your fingers and toes, shrug your shoulders. As Jim sings the next song, bring your awareness back into the Zoom.
This is a song that's changed from what I had planned. I wrote this recently when I was just improvising, and it kind of fell out, and it feels right for the moment. Here I am, perfectly flawed, in this moment, in this moment. Here I am, perfectly flawed, in this moment, in this moment. There is only now this breath, no judgment, simply being all enough. There is only now this breath, no judgment, only being all enough. Here I am, perfectly flawed, in this moment, in this moment. Here I am, perfectly flawed, in this moment, this moment. There is only love for you and for me, no exceptions, only love.
exceptions only love. Here I am.
Wow. Thank you for that, Jim. So, wisdom share, an opportunity for us to give voice to whatever's come up for us during the celebration so far, the talk and the music. Anybody had something that you'd like to share with the group? Raise your hand electronically or manually. Dina.
Jim Wade, thank you. That was an unexpected tear fest. Wow. I love you. Thank you. And wishing everybody peace today.
Thank you. Sandy.
Just have to say ditto. Boy, that just every song that you sang today just went so deep and excavated something so powerful inside of me. Thank you so much. And I'm waiting for the Broadway show of being Jim Wade with all your songs and you playing Jim Wade.
It was a fun show. It was a fun show. Thank you, Sandy. Anybody else? Something came up for you? All right, we'll let Sandy continue on.
New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gifts you share help fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We're grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there's a donation button on the website to make a donation by credit card or PayPal. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on our screen, and we'll say the affirmation together. I live in an abundant universe.
I am one with the source of all good. I am a center of
prosperity. I
enjoy the richness of life.
I bless my gift. I share my gift, gratitude, and joy. I know that as I give, I do receive, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Sandy. And now we get to find out if Jim is going to do which of the songs that I called out Jim's going to sing.
The benediction. Here we go. I'm taking this time to say thank you for traveling with me on this flight. 'Cause these turbulent times can be so lonely, but now I know I'm not alone. I know you're not alone. Please carry your light and love before you, and hold it near wherever you roam. The journey between the heart and mind is done. You are already home. You are already home. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is.
Beautiful. Perfect. And thank you. Thank you, Jim. I feel so blessed by this community, by the willingness for everybody to jump in and share and cry and be present. What a blessing. What a blessing it is. Well, normally we would encourage everybody to stand up and take each other's hands and form a circle. But on Zoom, as we've noticed, that's not the easiest thing in the world. So we're going to do that virtually. But go ahead and unmute so that you can repeat after me. I am love.
I am love.
I am light.
I am light.
I am nurturing wonderful ideas.
I am
I am nurturing wonderful ideas.
Let my light shine.
Let my light shine.
And let the love flow.
And let the love flow.
I choose love.
I choose love.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Thank you all so very much. Wow.
Thank you.
Yay.
They got